These are the plaintiffs, Michael and Melissa Cummings. Michael says he and the defendant are friends, and friend or no friend, he owes him money and won't pay. He has no other choice but to sue in court, so that's just what he's doing today for the $1,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Scott Braskell. He says he rented a room in the plaintiff's house. The guy's trying to sue him for rent after he moved out, and he's right. Friend or no friend, he's not paying for something he doesn't owe. He's accused of defriending a friend.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says his one-time good friend, the defendant, owes him money and the louse won't pay him back. But the defendant says hogwash. He owes nothing. It's the case of defriending a friend.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Cummings, you are suing your friend or former friend, I guess, Scott Braskell, who was a tenant in your home, for February and March rent. Tell me what is going on.
Yes. So he moved in with us in October.
2020?
And then, yes.
Okay. So are you a renter where you're at?
Yes, we're.
So,
yes.
Okay, so at the time, and then you were subletting to him?
Correct.
Okay. And how had you two known each other?
Through the gym he manages. I met him through there.
Okay. And how long had you known each other?
Oh, geez. 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, like around 3 years.
And who else is living in the apartment? The two of you, him, and anybody else? Children, anybody?
And our kids.
How old are your kids?
11, 10, and at the time 3.
And were they all full-time there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So he was renting out his own room and you were sharing, were you sharing the kitchen and stuff like that? And the common areas?
Yeah.
All right. And so it worked out fine from October until February. What happened in February, Mr. Cummings?
So I had asked him, it was probably about maybe the second or third, I asked him, hey, he's going to want to be able to get me your side of the rent, your portion of the rent.
How much was he paying?
And $500 a month.
And how much were you paying?
I was paying $12.50.
And then, so that $500 went towards the $12.50?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And then utilities and everything else.
So you asked him, hey, when are you going to have your rent? And what did he say?
I believe someone that's in the text messages. It was kind of like, yeah, I'll pay you type of thing. And then I believe it was like, I want to say it was the third or fourth. I had asked him on his way out, hey, when you get the chance, when are you going to pay your portion? He's kind of walking out, grumbling under his breath. And then I believe that's the last time I heard from him.
Okay, but apparently you guys had some kind of problem with Facebook. Tell me about that.
Yes. He had bashed us a little bit on Facebook. He did not use our names, no. And he did later on apologize for us.
To you. But what was it that he had said on Facebook?
He basically said that we were kind of dirty people, that we always have dishes in the sink, that we have stains. Every time we cook, there's always stains on the stove. You know, we have 3 kids, so it's not going to be perfect. But I mean, it wasn't to the point where you can't walk in. I do the dishes when I can, I just stove, and he was just calling us dirty, basically. And
who was he saying it to? How did you see that?
Because I have him I'm friends with him on Facebook. I was friends with him. So basically he was telling everybody on Facebook that
that the people he lived with are slobs? That's what he said. What did he say exactly? Do you have the Facebook post or did he take it down?
He took it down.
Okay, so when you see that, do you call him Ms. Cummings or do you walk over and talk to him and say, what are you doing?
Well, he wasn't home at the time. I was home. And so I called my husband and I told him what happened. And then I guess my husband called him and told him about it.
I texted.
You texted him. That I do have. So you end up texting him.
That one you do have.
And you say to him, January 31st, he writes to you, Mike, going to work. I have been back and forth to California to help Ron and Jeff. I pull up in your driveway, fall asleep, tell you more tomorrow night. You say, okay. He says, I may have to move and be his caregiver. He has no one. And we have been friends for 33 years now. It was not a pretty situation, as well as taking care of Jeff. It is heel on me. I suppose he meant hell on me, but they are both alone. And you say, oh, boo, well, let me know what you're going to do. Do you think you're going to make it through March? He says, talk tomorrow. Going to work, and the crazy both front tires went flat Friday. Coming back from California, 50 miles apart, $267, not been a fun week. Brandon, my cousin killed his wife on suicide watch, as well as his grandmother, my cousin Sherry. Goodness, what happened there, Mr. Breskel?
Oh, my cousin's a police officer in Toledo. He was shot dead.
Who's on suicide watch? And why do you say his wife? Oh, the wife is on suicide watch.
Because
I got it. There's just, you didn't use punctuation, so I didn't understand. I thought the assailant was on suicide watch.
I was tired.
All right. Gee, Scott, you can't catch a break. Checking into work, talk tomorrow, blah, blah, be safe. And then on February 2nd, we are having a conversation later. And that's because your wife had called you. That's blanked up to blast us on Facebook. If you have a problem, tell us. If you don't like it, leave. No one is forcing you to stay. So then you answer, Mr. Breskel, I did not mention your name, and Chad was just saying he felt bad he used my blank. You know I'm going through hell, just having a hard time with everything right now. Totally apologize. It's hard for me now. Again, I apologize. No one knows I live with you. They have no idea who I'm talking about. And you, Mr. Cummings, respond to him. I know you're having a hard time with things, but you are still directly blasting us. I don't like it, and I feel betrayed by a good friend. Please remove it and vent about something else. I accept your apology. I still love you, Scott, but take it down. It is off. Thank you. Then you sent a text him saying you'll have a place after March. Don't worry, you'll get the $500. But February 6th, and then the next text is February 5th. So, and April 5th, where you say, hey, do you have a timeline when we're going to get that month of rent from you? Not really, right? And then what happens, Mr. Cummings?
So I believe I sent that one in later on that week. I believe it was the 6th. I think it was a Saturday.
Well, what happened between the 2nd and the 6th? Did you see him?
No, we didn't see him at all. We thought he was there. He did not tell us that he was leaving. He must have packed all his stuff overnight or when we were sleeping. We thought he was just coming home late from work. He never returned the key. He just left up and left and didn't tell us.
So how did you find out he was gone?
I went into his room.
Yeah.
And what did you see when you went into his room, Mr. Cummings?
Nothing but our stuff sitting there.
Okay. So did you, at any point in time, did you reach out to him and say, what's going on? You left without notice?
I did, yes. So I went in a week later because we were both pretty mad. So I went in a week later, changed the locks in between that time, and then went to his job and then to get the key and asked him, said, hey, let me get the key from you. You could at least let us know you were leaving at the very least.
And what did he say?
Fly by night. He goes, yeah. He did say, yeah. With all the stuff going on, that's kind of pretty much what he said. It was a pretty short conversation.
Well, did he apologize? What? No?
He did, yes.
All right, so let me hear from you, Mr. Brescal. What is going on? They want February rent because you were there in February. They also want March rent. And March rent would be why? Because he didn't give you a full 30 days notice?
Yes.
Okay, so let me hear from you, Mr. Brescal.
No, I was only supposed to be there to the end of February, and they said I could stay an extra month if I wanted to.
Was there anything in writing that said your month-to-month tenancy ended in February?
No, we never had any contract, just verbal.
Right, so if you have a verbal contract and you pay rent every month?
I did.
Okay, were you there on February 1st?
I just started moving out that night.
But you were there on February 1st, right?
Yeah.
And why did you start moving out that night?
I came home. They know I work 12 hours a day. And I came home one night really tired. And then I was going to take a shower and a bath. And I asked Mike, where's my towel? And he said, well, we had to wipe our son's pee up with it, my hygienic towel. And that's when I just felt like disrespected. And that's when I decided to move out.
Did you say anything to them that you wanted to move out?
No.
Did you say anything to them that you were moving out? Or did you just kind of do it behind their backs? Why?
Just left.
Well, are you suggesting that you were all moved out on February 1st so you don't have to pay February? Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Brescal?
All my clothes were moved out by the 2nd.
Okay, so why wouldn't you have to pay if you were there in February?
I didn't live there in February.
I don't care whether you lived there. I care if you were there at all when the clock struck midnight and turned into February 1. And did you give him any notice that you were leaving? Because you're supposed to give 30 days notice on a month-to-month tenancy. When you have no lease, then you are by operation of law a month-to-month tenancy. And when you are a month-to-month tenancy, then you're supposed to give 30. Can we shut that phone off, whatever's ringing? Just. No, Mr. Breskel, hang up the phone. No,
I didn't.
Okay, wait, you asking them, can you help them? No, I meant I didn't want the phone ringing. I didn't mean go take your phone call while I sit here. Okay, all right, well, based on what I'm listening to, I am going to order you to pay rent for February, not for March, but yes, for February, and verdict for the plaintiffs in the amount of $500. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Mr. Briscoe, how do you feel about that?
Whatever.
Obviously, you're going to have to go along with it. You're not too thrilled, I can tell that. But anyway, Mr. and Ms. Cummings, let me ask you how you feel. You didn't get what you were seeking, but hey, you're getting a month rent.
Fine.
How about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. And it's kind of sad that he was a good friend, and it's kind of sad that we're losing him as a friend. He was a family friend. He went to all the parties, so it's kind of sad. But
I don't want to lose him. I hope we can reconcile through all this, because I love the guy and he's a good guy. So hopefully we can reconcile through
You're
this.
being very kind to him. Oh, good for you. All right. Okay, congratulations. You win. He should have given you notice. All right, and gotten out on time. Very good. All right, Harvey?
Doug, we have had so many landlord-tenant cases over the years in the People's Court. And one of the biggest issues we always have is somebody moves out and the landlord says, you didn't give me 30 days notice. And the tenant said, yes, I did. And they're going back and forth and the judge is trying to figure out what's going on. This could be solved so simply, especially if you're the tenant. What you do is, again, we've talked about this, you document it. You send the landlord a text or an email acknowledging exactly when you moved out, the time and the date, and that will do you well.
Do you have any funny pregnancy stories? And were you ever obsessed with any particular foods during your pregnancy?
I was obsessed with all food. I gained like 50 or 60 pounds with every pregnancy. I really did eat a lot during my pregnancies. But I remember one time when we were pregnant, using the term loosely, we were pregnant with Christy. I remember we were in the car and I said, pull over, because I had very bad morning sickness with all of them.
Yeah.
And I said, pull over. And you pulled over really fast and I jumped out of the car and a police officer.
They were like a mile or two from our house. We were close to home. We were close
a police officer thought it was a domestic violence situation and he pulled over and you're like, no, look at her. And
he's like trying to keep us apart. He's like, you stand over there. Don't go.
No, he didn't get very far because I was sitting there hurling on the side of the roads because I really did have a lot of morning sickness with the kids.
I remember. Yeah. But you soldiered on.